It's a good AGam in Kansas morning. Good morning. Let's take a look and see what's coming up today. First up today, KFRM's Duane Toews visits with Jennifer Houston, Vice Chair of the Federation Division within the NCBA, about their change in approach to reach millennials. Next, Dr. Chris Blevins discusses supplements for horses and why he stresses working with your local veterinarian to assess your horse's nutritional needs. Then Randall Tosh with SmartVet updates us on the VetGun. And in our 4-H files, we meet Karl Riffle from Marion County. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Duane Toews joining him once again. An opportunity while at the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in San Antonio. A chance to catch up with Jennifer Houston. She is the Vice Chair of the Federation Division within NCBA. And Jennifer, certainly a great time to come to Texas, and a lot of folks that get together and talk about things that are important to the industry, and the checkoff side of things. Certainly a lot of good news there from that perspective.
Oh, absolutely. It's a wonderful time to be working with the beef checkoff. Last summer we heard at our summer meeting about the $11.20 return on investment that our checkoff has done. So this is our important time as we start planning for next year. Our committee structure, which is based on the long-range plan, is going to come together, and they're going to set their priorities for this year. And then our contractors will take these priorities and they'll develop throughout the year their ARs that come to the operating committee this fall. So it's absolutely wonderful and imperative that our grassroots producers, and they're here in force to make their voice known and what they feel is the direction the checkoff needs to be going under the guidance of the long-range plan.
We're talking about that long-range plan. Things evolve over time, and certainly the mediums that we're using to reach consumers have changed. Some in focus on what we're trying to do there, but meeting the consumer on their terms is pretty important.
Absolutely. Our target audience now is the older millennials, age like 25 to 34, a lot of them with small kids, and they receive their information in a much different way, which is almost all digital. We know social media, we know smartphones are never far from their hands, so we made a strategic decision, the checkoff did, over a year ago, to go to an all-digital marketing medium. It was a tough decision. You know, a lot of us are really proud of all those print ads and those radio ads that we had, and a lot of equity that we had in those, and a lot of love for them. But we know if we want to sell beef to this group of millennials that's going to be the largest group of consumers before too very long, then we're going to have to meet them on their own terms. So we're getting wonderful results from this first full year in a digital marketing medium of the kinds of interaction we're getting. And that's what it's all about. They don't want to be force-fed information. They want interaction. For example, I was sitting there watching TV the other night and came across my Twitter feed that they're having short ribs on the chew. You know, try this beef it's what's for dinner recipe for Korean barbecued short ribs. That's the way we can get this synchronicity with digital that we never could in very targeted marketing. We talk about, used to we had a shotgun approach, let's reach the masses. Then our money went a little tighter. We said we're going to go to a rifle approach. Well, now, you know, we're down to the money. We're a laser approach. But we do have to change. Another change we're going to be looking at in 2015 is a new long-range plan. We have a new long-range plan committee that are going to be looking at, are we still where we were? Do we need to change some things? Not as much from a tactical level, but from a very strategic high level. Is this still the way we need to be going? We feel we're in the right direction, but we certainly can probably use some tweaking, and that's what this long-range plan committee is going to be doing over the next few months.
We'll continue our discussion about the Federation Division with NCBA at the Cattle Industry Convention. We'll have more on that topic after this.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Pope. Here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center, utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
AGam in Kansas is brought to you in part by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome back as we continue our discussion with Jennifer Houston, Vice Chair of NCBA's Federation Division in San Antonio at the Cattle Industry Convention and Trade Show. Jennifer, you referenced the opportunity for the different segments within those different committees and structure that the Beef Checkoff is working on now. Have we had enough time with that new structure to start seeing some of the benefits from it?
I think we have. We're starting our fourth cycle with it. We did have some growing pains the first year as people got used to the committees. And, you know, they were a little strange. I'm on convenience when I used to be on retail. Well, I knew what retail was, but when we started that, what is convenience? But because they're sort of key to the demand drivers, but we've also evolved over the last couple of years. For example, convenience and taste share a lot of the same strategies and tactics. So for part of the meeting, convenience and taste are actually going to meet together so that they can hear the same information. They'll meet separately to make their priorities, but a lot of the information applies to both. So we're continually evolving the committee structure to make it better for our producers.
And ultimately, the biggest goal is to reduce repetition, but make sure it's a unified picture of beef that we're providing.
Absolutely. We want to hit as much as we can, but we want all of our contractors to have that unified message of what beef is a safe, wholesome, nutritious product that's reaching our target audience. And so they've been very good. We had first time last summer, we had a new feedback system where we actually not only scored, we asked them to put written comments. And at the operating committee, that was the most valuable tool we've had in years to really see what the comments were and how our contractors responded between the summer conference meetings with their committees and what they presented in their final AR. They really responded and gave us much more what we needed to make decisions on these dollars at the operating committee level.
And exciting things that the Beef Checkoff can be very proud of, the kind of innovation and research that's been done in the past, building on that and moving into the future.
Oh, absolutely. Research is a key to what we do. You know, the BOLD study, we've tried to present that to dietary guidelines. It's research. It's used widely. Research on sustainability, the life cycle assessments allow us to answer some of our naysayers with sound science. And we believe that everything we need to do has to be built on sound science. And we feel that research is going to remain a priority. It's not just going to be a peripheral, it's going to be the backbone of everything we do at the checkoff as we talk to consumers, because that's one thing about millennials, they want facts. And that's the good thing. They're hard to reach somehow, but they're not gullible. They want to know the facts. And if you can give them those facts, then they're going to be on your side and they're going to buy into what you're trying to do with them. And the relationship builds and builds.
And certainly another point too, that would be that they like a face and a name to go along with that, and that's where producers really can help us in that regard as well.
Yeah, we're talking about telling our story all the time and starting a conversation and getting a dialogue going, because they do want to know who's raising their beef, how they're raising it. That really resonates with them, that you're up in the middle of the night pulling a calf, or you've got a baby calf in your kitchen. That resonates with them because that shows the care and the time that you're putting into the food that you're producing for their children as well as for your own children.
And the biggest thing to remind producers is that we all have a choice in that checkoff that we pay. Your voice can be heard if you take that initiative to talk to the people and get that ball rolling.
Absolutely. It's one thing about social media. We can all talk. And I've seen people on social media the last year or so that didn't know a thing about it, but that's still their story. It doesn't matter whether you're 18 or 85. You can tell your story, and that's the whole point. Kim Brackett, our chair on the beef board, talks about elevator speeches. You know, have a few points prepared that when you're sitting by someone on an airplane or you're standing in the grocery store line, that you can tell them a little bit about beef and the checkup. Not as much the checkup, but what beef can do for you nutritionally and how we raise it and how it is a safe and wholesome food.
Our thanks to Jennifer Houston, Vice Chair of NCBA's Federation Division, for joining us at the Cattle Industry Convention and Trade Show in San Antonio. I'm Duane Toews. Have a great day.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome. Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
This segment is brought to you by Central National Bank. Put our ag professionals to work for you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Chris Blevins with Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center with Horsing Around. Today, let's talk about supplements. There's a lot of things out there that you can feed and put in front of your horse, whether they're treats, whether they're nutritional aspects to add either body condition to your horse or to help the hooves, or different labels based on health of your horse or calmness, electrolytes. There's different ways that they can issue it based on paste, powders, pellets, already in feeds. And so when trying not to get lost with all those, what are things that you need to be looking for when it comes to supplements for your horse? You have to remember that all supplements usually aren't necessarily completely regulated specifically based on what they're doing for the animal. So they're a nutraceutical. The FDA does regulate to make sure that the supplement is safe for your horse or your animal, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the supplement is effective or it fixes whatever it says that's based on the label. So the regulation is based on safety, but not necessarily that of effectiveness of that product. So always keep those things in mind when you look at different products to buy for your horse. It sure could be safe, but how effective it is always in question. Now, when you think about paste and powders and pellets and what should be or things to think about for your animal, always remember that the horse, based on whatever is in their diet, as long as it's fairly balanced, doesn't need a lot of extra supplementation. I think that if you ever have questions, especially with very young and very old horses, that then more supplements are possibly or potentially could be added. You know, L-lysine is an amino acid that sometimes is low and that is needed for foals. So different products could be higher in L-lysine that you could supplement for foals, and just something to think about as far as a supplement. Older horses, we always try to think about balancing their diet, and if they're getting a complete feed or if they're just getting some processed feed that you have to kind of add together and mix and match so everything is correctly balanced for the animal. And that can be pretty complicated, and sometimes having an equine nutritionist help with those things are always helpful. And like always, talk to your veterinarian. Sometimes they can give you some very beneficial information when it comes to nutrition. In addition, they can guide you to somebody else as far as an expert in equine nutrition that they can work with you and the veterinarian to come up with the best thing for each individual animal. Most middle-aged horses are fine without most supplementations, but always think about things as far as your animal and body condition. That's the biggest thing when it comes to animals. You know, the other thing is hoof supplements that'll be in foods, and a lot of them are going to have biotin. And how that biotin is helpful, bioavailability of the biotin, and what that kind of does. You know, we're looking for sulfur bonds and hoof health, and they're finding some of those are variable as far as how effective really they are. And a lot of things too is to remember that a lot of hoof health has to do with blood supply and working with your farrier on keeping a good foundation of the hoof together and the environment that the horse is on, whether it's dry or if it's moist environments and different things that can affect the hoof. So those would be the first things to think about. Potentially could add some different supplements for hoof health, but really how effective some of those are, again, are in question, and wondering whether how effective they are is something that you should talk to your veterinarian, your farrier, and equine nutritionist about when it comes to some of those things, even about hoof. There's electrolytes that they can add for, you know, if you're going on a lot of endurance riding, sweating, horses do sweat, so salts and electrolytes sometimes are helpful in rebalancing that, and make sure they have plenty access to water. Again, if you have any questions about supplements, nutrition of your horse, and body condition scoring of your horse, talk to your veterinarian. The veterinarian may even help with finding a good equine nutritionist to consult with you. And having those realms to ask and figure out what's the best for your animal is always beneficial when it comes to equine health. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center with Horsing Around, and we'll see you around.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
I'm Randall Tosh with SmartVet. We're the manufacturers of the VetGun and AML Vet Caps, a unique precision dosage delivery device for treating horn flies, face flies, and biting and sucking lice in beef cattle. We're very pleased to be back at the 2015 National Cattlemen's Beef Association to once again share with the U.S. market this unique device for controlling parasites effectively in cattle when it's not convenient or easy for producers to do so. We think we're offering to the market the only device that lets producers take into their own hands the power to treat cattle at a time most beneficial to them. And we're very excited about the opportunity to bring this product back into the market again in 2015 and to help producers all across the U.S. better manage pest control. We were very heartened to receive such a strong response from the U.S. market in 2014, selling the VetGun via our distributor AgriLabs into 48 U.S. states. We saw a very overwhelming response, a great deal of interest in our product, a great recognition for what the VetGun allows producers to effectively do in better managing pest control. And so we're coming back into the market this year even from a strengthened position. We actually surveyed about 500 of our producers who purchased a VetGun last year, and remarkably 94% of them told us that they would absolutely recommend this to a colleague, a friend, a neighbor who has cattle and would be interested in the same kind of unique, easy, convenient pest control. In addition to the VetGun being easy to use, convenient, safer for both cattle and producers, it's a great opportunity to get out with family and friends and to work with your cattle in a way that allows cattle to become accustomed to this kind of a treatment process. Obviously, they're not being stressed by rounding them up and running them through a squeeze chute. Certainly producers understand that that's not an easy thing to do at any time of year, but especially in the heat of summer, the last thing you want to do is round up your cattle. So taking the VetGun out on your four-wheeler or your gator or even on foot, just as we recommend, drop some hay or cake to sort of acclimate your cattle to the fact that you're there to work with them. Dry fire the gun a couple times just to make them aware of the sound. Cattle never react adversely to the VetGun, and the immediate knockdown of flies and the benefit that they receive will pay off in the way of big dividends, because horn flies, as every producer knows, are a serious pest and they're a serious economic drain on the productivity of cattle. So the investment in a VetGun and AML vet caps can very readily start to save producers a lot of money very quickly.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here, now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Tarwater Farm and Home is a nearly 40-year-old local family-owned business. Clothing for work and play, seeds and feeds, boots, toys for the kids, the tools you need for around the home and farm, and a service department to keep them in top running order. It's a big store, so when you have some time, take some time to see what they have for your farm and home. Tarwater's everyday pricing is like others' sale prices. When you need it, they've got it. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Good morning. I'm Abby Bernhardt from Inman High School. Today we meet a 4-H'er from Marion County. Meet Karl Riffle from Marion County's Tampa Triple T's 4-H Club. Riffle has one more year left in 4-H and has participated in a number of 4-H projects over the years. He has shown goats, pigs, and cattle, and says his favorite is the pig project. Riffle says he spends a lot of time getting his animals ready for shows.
We'll start out in the spring, looking for them all, and then bringing them home, getting them used to the environment in the barn, and go from there.
Riffle works with his animals so they can be competitive just like athletes.
Well, they are an athlete. They can't be fat, and if they're fat, then they don't want to get out and move, and then they don't want to stay out and drive as long as they possibly can.
Riffle has received a number of honors over the years and attributes his success to hard work.
Hard work does usually pay off, and you're not always going to win everything. So you just got to keep trying and keep working at it, otherwise it ain't just going to fall in your lap.
He believes that his time and participation in FFA and 4-H have helped him secure a spot on the Allen County Livestock Judging Team.
If it wouldn't have been for them two, I probably wouldn't be able to judge on the collegiate level today.
If you would like more information about Kansas 4-H, visit their website at www.kansas4h.org. I'm Abby Bernhardt reporting for AGam in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.